Hey, Doug. Good morning. I ask you for an injury update here on a few key guys: Lane Johnson, Miles Sanders, Alshon, Malik Jackson.
So 1, 2, and 4 are day to day. Number 3 his foot has been cleared to practice, but he sustained a calf injury a couple weeks ago, so he's still kind of nursing that. So he's more day to day.
How disappointing is that with Alshon then that he finally gets over the foot and now he has another injury to deal with?
Yeah, and sometimes you see it with guys that have one injury and then they come back and something happens to another part of their body. It is something that occurs, but when he's healthy, he'll be out there and ready to go.
We'll go to John and then Tim.
Hey, which John, Brett?
Clark. Sorry.
Good morning, Doug. Jason Peters, do you think he has a chance to return Sunday night, and where are you lining him up?
Yeah, first of all, he's been cleared to return to practice, so that's exciting for us to get him back this week and get him in the mix. And right now, I think it's just a matter of him just getting out there and feeling comfortable again with the offensive line. We haven't been real committal one way or the other, but he definitely can help us at left tackle, and he's had the right guard experience. So he basically just need to see him moving around today and tomorrow and see where he can best help us.
We'll go to Tim and then Paul Domowitch.
Doug, Dallas Goedert activated for that 21-day practice window. What's the latest with him?
Well, he's another one. He's doing extremely well, and I'm excited to get him back. It's sort of integrated into practice, even if it's on a limited basis, where he can at least start maybe catching passes from Carson and detailing some routes, and we just got to see where he is each day and see where his comfort level is and how he responds with a little more of an intense workout on his injury.
Paul and then Kristen.
Doug, you mentioned left tackle as a possibility with JP. Jordan had a rough day Sunday or Thursday. How much of a concern was that, and does that play into the possibility of where you put JP if he's ready to play?
Yeah, well, first of all, Jordan has really he's filled in nicely. He's done a great job, and I think that's a bright spot for us, having seen him play and really play against some really good defensive ends or outside linebackers. And we all know that Jason Peters feels comfortable at left tackle, and he's a veteran player. If that's where we want to play him this week, and even if he's available to play, and it's just something that I think too with Jordan. Again, the reps, the time on task is just valuable. Something he can learn from as he progresses and moves forward. So, it gives us a lot more depth now at the offensive line position. That's for sure.
Kristen and then Ruben.
Hey, Doug, when we talked with Rodney McLeod the other day, he had mentioned a messaging you gave the team last week. When you look at these 3 weeks of divisional games that you guys having ahead of you, he said, focus on this chunk of these 3 divisional games moving forward. I'm curious if you can expand on that, especially now this week when you already have one of those divisional games under your belt. You've got a rivalry game with the Cowboys and, again, another divisional game this week.
Well, I guess sometimes part of my messaging comes in blocks, right? It comes in waves. Like, we as coaches, sometimes we talk about the first quarter of the season, the first 4 games, and the second quarter, and on to the third, on to the fourth. And for us, when we looked at the schedule and kind of where we are up to the bye and really the game after the bye, these were all division, NFC East opponents, two against the Giants and the Cowboys this weekend. So, my messaging to him was just, hey, let's lock in here these next couple of weeks. Let's focus in. We know we have a little bit of time off after this football game, and where guys can really get healthy and then gear up for that third, NFC East game. So, it's just kind of how I shape the messaging to the team and try to, I guess from a focal standpoint, just kind of give them a visual as to kind of not only where we are, but kind of where we're headed.
Ruben and then Les.
Hey, Doug. You've had a lot of young guys contributing, rookies and first-year type guys, Fulgham and Hightower, some of the offensive linemen. What does it give your team when you have that kind of young, youthful energy, guys maybe you weren't really counting on who've blossomed a little bit? What does it do for the whole team when you have that?
I do believe that it really lifts everybody. There's a sense of energy. I think with with a younger player, youthfulness, a guy that's out there and kind of flying around, and you see him making plays in practice, and then it carries over in games. And I think everybody, coaches and players, really kind of feed on that and feed off of that. And it's been real exciting to see our young players have such a impact on our first 7 games, and really, I think, quite frankly, they're going to have an impact the rest of the season as they get more and more play time, and then obviously sprinkling in the guys that have been hurt coming back to practice and things of that nature. So I think from my standpoint, I get energized, I get jazzed up when you see these guys come in and do the things that we see in practice, and it carries over into games.
Les and then Zach.
Hi, Doug. Did you mention Jalen Reagor in your? I wasn't following all the numbers there. Where is he? He'll practice, I guess.
Yeah, Jalen. First of all, wasn't in the 1, 2, 3, 4 scenario earlier.
Oh, okay.
But Jalen's going to practice. He's going to be out there today. Again, he's another one. We got to get him back into the offense and just see where he's at. But yeah, he's another one that'll be out there today practicing. And
also Lane Johnson, someone like him who's trying to play with something that isn't really healed. Would there be an advantage to trying to get through this game without him and giving him the extra week, with the bye coming up? How do you weigh things like that?
I'll let you take that up with Lane, because that guy doesn't want to come off the field. He's tough. He's tough, and still, I'll mention this too with Jack Driscoll. He's getting close, and we're going to see where he's at again. And you just we have to be smart, obviously, as a medical staff and as coaches to not put a player in harm's way. And if the player feels comfortable, if Lane feels comfortable in playing and getting out there, then listen, I'm not gonna be the one that stands in his way. But it does give us some added firepower, I think, with the offensive line if somebody like Lane can go.
Thank you. Zach and then John McMullen.
Hey, Doug, in getting back to Jason Peters, you mentioned where he's comfortable playing, and it seemed, at least from the outside looking in, during the summer, he had influence in determining where he would play. As you make that decision now, how much is it based on what he wants to do, and how much of it is based on the overall outlook of the offensive line?
Well, I'll tell you this. One of the things that I really appreciate about JP and where he is in his career is he understands where we are as a football team and how he can best help the football team. And if it's playing left tackle again, he'll go play left tackle. If we ask him to play right guard, he'll play right guard. That's just who JP is. We've got 7 games right under our belt, and we've had a lot of moving pieces up there, and hopefully one day we can have some stability, at the offensive line. And again, if that's him playing left tackle, great. If it's right guard, great. But at least it gives us stability, moving forward. Ed, what are you doing?
We'll go to John and
Jessica. Are you flying the room?
Nick again. Hey, Doug. The trade deadline's coming up. I know you're not going to talk about potential additions, but you have been through it in the past. So how difficult is it if somebody comes in to get them ramped up and up to speed at this point of the season?
It's a challenge. It's difficult. Obviously, you're always looking to add talent, to add depth to your roster, but at the same time, this person has to come in and whether it's offense, defense, and then throw in special teams, right? He's got to feel comfortable. We have to feel comfortable as coaches, before we put players out there, and that's a little bit of a challenge, halfway through your season, but it can definitely be done. So we'll see where we are, next week, but it can be a little bit of a challenge getting that person ready to go, at least that first week.
We've got time for two more, so we'll go to Jeff and then Mike K.
Hey, Doug, good morning. Hope all's well. When it's Dallas Cowboys week, do you get a little extra juice for these games, especially when first place is at stake right now?
Yeah, I do. This is always a great week. It's an exciting week anytime you play any of our division opponents, division rivals, and this is no different. We're Sunday night football, and we're excited again to be in a national spotlight, to be another home game, and really. I think just kind of, feeding off hopefully a little bit of momentum from last Thursday, but it's something too that you look at both teams and maybe there's not the same, luster or excitement from, the game. Maybe the two teams are struggling or whatever it is. But listen, it's always the Dallas Cowboys. I remember back in '99 when I played here, and I can think of the fans are always like, hey, there's two games every year that you really got to win, right? And it's the two Dallas games. So, that's a part of the excitement this week. The guys are excited. I know Dallas will be excited coming up here. Looking forward to playing.
Go ahead, Mike.
Doug, you brought up time on task, and I was wondering how much does that factor into your decisions, maybe especially this week with a lot of guys trying to kind of rev up and get back into the game. Would it help to have some of those younger guys still out there and not necessarily rest those other guys, but be a little bit more precautious with the players as they go through this 21-day window?
Yeah, I do think, from a coaching standpoint, you got to be smart with that, right? I think you just don't throw a guy out there and expect him to kind of pick up where he left off. I think it is a slow process, right? You got to incorporate them back into practice a little bit. And again, it goes back to the young guys that have been playing, and they've been playing well, and they've been getting better each week. And it makes it a little more difficult on us as a staff to find the right combination of guys, each week to play. But, our veteran players are good players. The guys that are injured are good players. And if they're capable of playing, we got to find a way to get them on the field.